Some financial experts today still advise people to only have one credit card. Some might suggest a second card as a backup. Nothing wrong with these approaches depending on what the end goal is. In this video, I'll examine how to significantly boost a credit score using the opposite approach. I'm Cap, and welcome to Screaming Lincoln's Consumer Credit Series. I've said it before in my other videos, payments are where it's at when it comes to your credit score. I won't bore you with the usual 5 credit factor chart showing payment history making up 35% of a score. Instead, I'll elaborate on what anyone can do to boost the impact the payment history factor has on their score with certain credit schemes. First, I'll start by saying the credit system in the US has its flaws. I've heard from too many people how their score dropped significantly from paying off their student or car loans. The US credit system is a real problem for some, but it has some areas that can be exploited, which brings us to the importance of payments. The secret, if you want to call it that, is to get as many payments reported as possible. But how do you do that? And who has the time to make all those payments by the due dates if you have lots of cards? Start by making small transactions with every card you have. Any card with a Visa, MasterCard, or Amex logo on it can be easily utilized with small transactions. Simply buy something from a merchant or online for as little as possible. Then set that card to auto-pay from your checking account. Rinse and repeat with all your other cards. I go into detail on how to do this in one of my other videos that shows how anyone can improve their score with simple $1 payments. This approach to building your payment history can be challenging if you have few or no cards at all. For consumers that find themselves in this situation, the goal is still the same. The journey is just a little different in the beginning. Consumers with no credit history will have to navigate the side of credit where the terms are much less friendly, but the approval requirements are significantly lower in return. Think of it like a typical gaming app on your phone. Rather than progressing through the game faster by spending real money, you'll have to grind it out with more time. So instead of applying straight to a premium card from a bigger commercial lender like Chase's Sapphire Preferred card, consumers with no history will have to start with cards that are much easier to get approved and usually have little to no credit history requirement. Eventually, you can work your way up to the sexier cards with all the great rewards, but for now, your main focus is just getting your credit history established with lots of payments to boost your score. Remember, the credit game is a long one, but having the right strategy in the beginning can pay off much sooner. As long as a card reports the payments, it's as good as any premium card when you're starting out. The concept of credit card rewards is a separate topic and will be discussed in another Screaming Lincoln's video. Many of these lenders that issue cards with lower approval standards actually want new borrowers. The trade-off with these lenders is their terms are more predatory against borrowers, often coming with unfair terms like higher interest rates, fluctuating interest rates based on borrower activity, requiring a cash deposit, and so on. Despite the unfriendly and many would call unfair terms, the goal is still the same. Use these cards by applying the $1 credit scheme. Navigating this minefield of predatory lenders is easy when the $1 credit scheme is followed. Imagine a scenario where the borrower takes advantage of the lender in boosting their credit score and exploiting the flawed credit system in the US to go much further in their credit journey into a world of much friendlier terms and rewards. All you need is payments. Once you have enough of them reporting, the credit realm opens up and a world of opportunities await. For those people who insist on having only one card as their main driver and have others that never get used, hear me out. Here you are with your one card. You use it responsibly every month and pay the balance in full and never pay interest. You even make an extra payment on the statement closing date to ensure a low balance is reported. At the end of every billing cycle, you get a nominal but still nice reward of about 2% back. Too many people subscribe to this manner of credit usage. After a year of this, you can see 12 months reported in the credit history and you're off and running. But are you going as fast as you should? Let's see how we can ramp this up and progress faster in the credit journey. Now let's take the same situation and add 5 more cards. It's actually not that many. It's quite easy to acquire lots of cards if the main objective is to increase the number of payments being reported. Remember, lenders are always looking for borrowers. The better the borrower's records, the better the chance of approval. As this illustration shows, the payments from the 6 cards add up quickly in the same 12-month span. Which borrower do you think a lender is more likely to lend? The difference in credit scores is also revealing since the payment history factor is so well padded with extra payments. More on that in a moment. When I say extra payments, I'm not implying anyone should be spending extra money. Extra payments do not mean extra money paid. Start looking at your expenses differently. Instead of negatives that simply drain the money from your bank account, see them as the positives they are for credit card rewards. Use the activity on these cards to build relationships with lenders and build a credit score for yourself. I look forward to expenses because of the opportunities they present. I instruct my employer to take out the minimal amount of taxes from my paychecks every pay period because I look forward to owing money every year. See my video on how to use necessary expenses like taxes, for example, to further your credit journey and even reduce your expense amounts through credit card sign-up bonuses. As long as you're not spending beyond your means, then expenses should be treated as the credit-building opportunities they are. Our borrower can break down a single transaction into many smaller ones, so the total amount of expenses doesn't change. Using this credit scheme allows way more payments to be reported over the same 12-month time frame. Which scenario do you think a lender will favor more? Someone with just a single payment every month? Or someone that can manage many payments across many credit accounts every month? The choice is yours. Now that you know how to manipulate certain aspects of the credit game, what's your strategy? Let me know which cards you're thinking about applying or a creative credit scheme you've come up with in the comments anytime. Hit it, Steve.